Hey guys, welcome back to another Weekend of Meals video. If you're new here, my name is Jess and I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2. In these videos, we share some of the meals we had over the weekend and we also throw in some family fun. Today I had 2 yummy dinners and a quick and easy lunch to share with you. So if you guys enjoyed these videos on my channel, don't forget to hit that like button and let's get to it.
What's that face? Is it sour?
No.
Good morning guys. So I'm about to get dinner in the Crockpot. It's almost 11 o'clock, so I need to get that going. I decided to make a Mississippi roast again, which we made once before a very long time ago. And we made it in our Dutch oven, and it didn't turn out the way we wanted. It was still good, but you know, it's not how a roast should be to me. So I'm going to try it again, this time in the Crockpot, because I saw my friend Ashley make it, and she called it her fancy version of Mississippi roast, and it looked really good. So I'm going to try to make it the way she did and see how it turns out. I'm not the biggest fan of ranch and stuff. Like, I like ranch for, like, pizza and fries and salad. But, like, we tried cracked chicken, and I just wasn't, like, the biggest fan. I don't know. Ranch and things just kind of doesn't interest me. But everyone still swears by this, so I'm going to try it again, and maybe we'll like it better this time because we're going to make it Ashley's fancy way. So mine might be a little bit different than hers, just because I'm just kind of winging it, but she had a little bit different kind of roast. Hers was more of a fancier cut, I guess you would say. I got the cheap one. But it's a roast, it's beef, it's going in the Crockpot. I'm sure it'll taste the same. So, let's get this started. So, like I said, she had a different cut of roast. I think hers was maybe a chuck roast or something. It was flat. So, this might be a little bit more difficult to sear, but I'm going to do it. So, we have our roast. We have butter. Or not, because every time Adam puts the butter thing back, it's always empty. But I have other butter in the fridge, so I'll get that out. I see you! What are you doing?
Can you put this blue piece on?
Alright, so more butter. We'll use that. I think I'll probably use half of that. I don't know. I see a lot of people put a whole stick, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I like butter, but that's a lot of butter. Peppers! Everyone uses the whole ones, but I saw Ashley use the sliced ones, and I was like, well, that's better. The sliced ones are better to me. They're not as spicy. They're kind of like more like just banana peppers with a little bit of spice, but this way nobody has to cut them up to eat them, or, you know, no one wants a whole pepper on their plate. Ranch and au jus gravy mix, the usuals. And then to hers, she added some rosemary, and I even just texted Adam. I was like, do we like rosemary? Like, I know we like rosemary, but how much do we like it? Enough for me to put it in there. He said, yeah, just be careful. It's strong. So, a little bit of that in there. And then she also added some red cooking wine. So, I'm going to attempt to make it the way she did, or similar. She put her potatoes and carrots in the Crockpot with her roast. But we're just making mashed potatoes and Brussels sprouts, so I'm just going to do the roast by itself. What in the world is happening? Why are you making that noise? We got new burners for our stove, because if you remember this one, would always freak out, and I'm scared it's doing again. I don't know. It's very, very hot. Like these, I can feel the heat from way too far away. I don't know. It's kind of... I don't like the noise it's making. So I'm going to put a little bit of butter in here to sear my roast with. And let's hope I don't mess this up. I probably should have got some of this off. See? Winging it. I'll just do it while it's in the pan. So now we're just gonna get this guy in here and hope I don't drop it. Oh goodness. Okay. It's so pretty. Alright. So for this part of the recipe, I pretty much did exactly what Ashley did. I threw in some butter and some minced garlic and let that get cooking. And I also threw in my rosemary. But I also added a little bit of onion powder, and I just let this cook for a few minutes to get the garlic cooking, and then we're going to add in our red wine, and then we'll let this simmer for a few minutes to kind of thicken up and reduce, and then we'll get this in the crock pot. Pretty sure butter and garlic cooking is one of the best smells in the whole world. Add in some onions and bacon to that, and it's like heaven. Alright. So once our wine reduction was pretty much done, I added my ranch and au jus packets to my roast in the crock pot and made a big mess while doing it. And then I added on a whole bunch of those peppers because we really like those. And Ashley didn't do this, but I decided to add in some of the juice from the jar. And then we're going to add on our wine reduction and put this on low for about 7 hours. And this turned out so delicious. So this is starting to look good, and it smells amazing. So I think we're about ready to get this in there. I'm just gonna let it go another minute or two. So yummy. Oh, and I also added on a little bit of extra butter on the top, just about a tablespoon that I cut up into smaller pieces. That way it would melt all over the roast while it was cooking. Alright, so here it is. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. We'll come back later and see how it turns out. And put on low for 6 hours. So for my lunch today, here's what I'm doing. We had some of this leftover steak from Philly cheesesteak baked potatoes that we made last night. I'll show you a little clip of that, but I'm gonna make a little bit of thin spaghetti real quick that I just broke up. I have some cabbage, some carrots, celery, green onions, and some mushrooms. I was chewing meat, sorry. I guess I'm just having beef twice in one day, but this sounded so good. I just want to make like a quick stir fry type thing. So some oyster sauce, soy sauce, sesame oil, some rice vinegar, and some chili garlic sauce. And I'm just gonna cook my celery and carrots, and then I'll cook the mushrooms and the onions, and then throw this stuff in real quick. Cook the noodles separately, throw a little sauce in there, and I have a yummy, mostly veggie stir fry for lunch. So like I said, this lunch was going to be super easy. I'm getting my spaghetti noodles cooking on the back burner. And in my skillet, I didn't really measure any of this. I just threw in a little bit of butter and some sesame oil and got my celery and carrots cooking because those were going to take the longest. Once those had cooked for a few minutes, I went ahead and added in my mushrooms and green onions. I know a lot of people would wait longer to add in the green onions, which you can do, but I like to cook them down. And then I'm going to start adding in the ingredients for my sauce. Like I said, I didn't measure, so I'll have what I threw in on the screen. And you can always adjust this to taste. When my noodles were almost done and the rest of the veggies were pretty much how I like them, I went ahead and threw in my leftover steak and my shredded cabbage because I only wanted to cook these for a minute or two until the cabbage wilted down a little bit. I like it to still be a little bit crunchy, and my steak warmed through, and then I'm just going to add in my noodles and lunch is done. While dinner was cooking in the crock pot, we decided to finally rearrange our bedroom. We've had it this way since Tucker was a baby, and it was just time for a change. To go with our roast, we made some of our Brussels sprouts with bacon and grapes. And I have a video where we show this more in detail, so I'll link that down below. But we've just got some brown sugar and some vinegar and stuff like that thrown in here, so I'm going to link that video and the recipe down in the description box. But these are so delicious.
What do you think? Does it look good?
I'm doing it because it looks so good.
It's my friend Ashley's recipe. You think it's gonna be good?
Yeah, I do look.
Her daughter loves to watch you guys.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really full
And she loves Angus.
It's really cute though. If you,
Next time we'll get whatever kind of roast you use. What was that? A chuck roast?
Looked like a nice juicy roast.
I love your roast.
You like it, Garrett?
Yeah, I love it. Maybe I put 10 stars.
10 stars?
Yeah, 1,000 stars.
Do you love it?
It's too good. To this. Oh, that's
Too legit to quit?
So instead of mashed potatoes, we decided on some rice to go with our roast, and this turned out so good. That little change with the red wine was the perfect thing. This was delicious, and the boys cleaned their plates. So we got our room pretty much finished. We still have to hang up all of our paintings and stuff, but just a little change made it feel so much better. And now the bed's not in front of the window, so I love it. And the boys still have their little corner for if they want to sleep in our room. And it's just so much more comfy.
Down out of the tree he went. Down, down, down. It was a long way down.
Interesting.
We'll
That's
say
kinda fun.
that.
So two
Great.
unicorns, two
Can you
bicycles, they race
teach
each other.
him
I actually
more?
like this idea. You know what that means? That means I'm deeply disturbed.
So on this night for dinner, we made some brisket burgers. We had some leftover brisket in the freezer from Easter, and we just took some of that out and thawed it. And then we're going to grind this up in our food processor and add it to some ground beef to make some burgers. So these were really simple. Adam just did half and half ground beef and brisket, and he just seasoned it with some salt and pepper and some garlic and onion powder, and made these into burgers to put on the grill. We topped our burgers off with some American cheese, and we're just going to serve them on these pretzel buns that we got from the discount rack at Walmart. For my burger, I topped it off with some mayonnaise, mustard, and barbecue sauce. I also added on some chopped jalapenos, some sliced dill pickles, some sweet onion, and some shredded lettuce. These turned out really, really good, and I'm so glad we still have some brisket left in the freezer, because that means we can make these again. We just served these with some fries, and this was a super simple and delicious dinner.
Hey, Mom.
What you making?
We were there the whole time. We're making a house to have the portal open in the doorway, the water dimension, and the glass dimension.
Mm.
And
Well, Mr. Duck finally died. And Angus keeps stealing him off the kitchen counter. But
oh, he's got
what you got now?
He's got an alligator.
It's not really an
Or is it
alligator
croc?
though, it has flippers. Is
It's
it
a
supposed to be
croc.
like Nessie or something?
I saw on the cable.
You got a gator? Is that your new gator? Do you love him?
Boy, Dad, I
Don't dig on the couch. Squeak him. Squeak him.
Angus.
Squeak him.
Well, we still win.
Do you love him? Don't tear a hole in him. Get him. Get him.
We did it, Dad. Whoa, 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 whoa. I love it. I love it.
The next day we made the long drive to Garrett's dentist office. He had 2 little flossing cavities that he needed to have fixed before they got worse. So we headed to do that, and then we planned to make it a fun day afterwards.
A few more where?
I think it's a few more minutes away.
So do I turn up here?
Are we almost there?
No, it doesn't so well.
You're such a good navigator.
Garrett did such a good job at the dentist, and as a treat, we went to Panda Express for some lunch. We hadn't had this in years, like since Tucker was in a high chair. And it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as I remember, but the boys enjoyed it, and it was definitely good because it's not something we get often. After lunch, we headed to this snow cone place called Bahama Bucks. They have so many flavors, and they do all these fun things. Like, you can order just about any kind of snow cone you want here. And we had never been here before, so it was super fun, and those were the best snow cones we've ever had.
We passed by a Cabela's on the way home and we were like, hey, why don't we take the boys in and they can see the aquarium? And that was pretty cool, but turned out they were even more impressed by the taxidermy animals. You wouldn't imagine that 2 kids would get so excited about animals that aren't even still living, but they loved it. It was something new just to do. Wander around and look at everything, and we had never been there, so they had a lot of fun. We just checked out all the animals and shopped around a little bit, and then we headed home. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for coming along and spending part of our weekend with us. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and we'll see you guys in the next one.